They're whispered around campfires and passed down from generation to generation. They spark fear in the hearts and minds of children and adults alike. Their subjects take many shapes, be they bloodthirsty creatures of the night, vengeance-seeking ghouls, or sinister vortices. And each time they are told, the terror spreads. Dubbed by Thought Catalog as the most terrifying place in Colorado you've never been to, Riverdale Road has quite the storied and terrifying history. Modern technology has helped humanity learn and explain things that we never could have imagined decades ago, let alone centuries ago. We now have the knowledge of galaxies far beyond what the human eye can see. Scientists have mapped out exactly how the cells in the body work. Medical advances have been made that have aided in saving the lives of thousands of humans. The internet puts an immeasurable amount of information at our fingertips. And yet, somehow, some things still remain just beyond our grasp. There are some locations around the world where the inexplicable occurs daily, and with no foreseeable reasoning or justification. These events go down as local lore and urban legend, which is, of course, where we step in. In our alphabetical journey across the United States, we will now travel to Colorado and a seemingly simple road in Thornton named Riverdale Road. However, to call this a simple road would be a discredit to the facts. And the facts are, this simple road has endless ghost stories to tell. So, if you're brave enough, let's take a drive together down Riverdale Road. The rusted iron gates loom tall in the distance, letting the curious know that they are in the right place. Not an adventure to be taken lightly, or to be ventured upon by those easily frightened. Riverdale Road claims to be the site of the very gates of hell. The claims of the area are so unnerving that even the bravest of thrill seekers will only drive it in groups. Some even feeling the need to come equipped with Bibles and holy water. It is a place where legend speaks of satanic worship, murders, sacrifice, and a lady in white who roams the nearby road forever, searching for her way home. Travelers come to see the burned ruins of a once great mansion, the haunted trunk of a tree left scarred as an after effect of a raging fire that once claimed the land, and reports of a terrifying, musty, and dark room buried, hidden underground. The many terrifying accounts of the accursed history of this place leave it not so hard to believe that this 11-mile stretch of road is the highway straight to the gates of hell. Those courageous enough to travel through Riverdale Road's gates of hell will come upon the crumbling ruins of an old mansion that finds itself at the forefront of one of the area's most enduring urban legends. This legend is credited to the horrific tale of a man who built the once grand mansion. The story goes that the man was quite wealthy and well-respected in the area at the time. However, behind his professional demeanor, he was hiding a dark and deadly secret. One evening, the man would go crazy and, for reasons unknown at the time, he would light his mansion on fire and flee, leaving behind his sleeping wife and children to be engulfed in the flames that he created. The family would sadly perish in the fire, and the man was never caught, never put on trial, and justice was never found for his innocent family. The residents of the area would demand answers, and would find those answers in what was once an underground chicken coop on the property. Once the underground coop was discovered, the dark reasons for the man's deeds would be revealed. The walls of this subterranean crypt were covered with mysterious markings the man had drawn in his efforts to conjure spirits and demons. Hidden from sight beneath the ground, he wrote symbols of black magic on the walls in the blood of his many victims, trying to access power from an unseen world. Those curious will walk down the steps into darkness, dampness filling their lungs, making it hard to breathe. Flashlights doing little to illuminate the dense darkness of this tomb. There's a sense that something waits in every corner, only to scurry away just before the flashlight's glow can catch it. For those that are brave enough to sit quietly in the dark, they will hear the heavy breathing of an unseen occupant in the room, hovering just over their shoulder, seemingly taunting the visitors. It is believed that the markings on the walls entrap something, and some say that that something is a demon, and that these markings remain not covered over in all these years, so that this demon does not take it upon itself to follow you home. And home is exactly where you will want to be after spending even a small amount of time here. Many leave swearing to never return. Articles of clothing found at the site lead many to believe that many of the individuals reported missing in the area were dumped here to be sacrificially murdered to appease the unknown entity breathing down the necks of those brave or dumb enough to dare step into the darkness of this underground coop. Many believe that once they pass through the gates of hell and are safely on the other side, that they are safe, that they have left behind whatever hell was once upon them and is home to this madman and his many victims. If you speak to those that have been there, you'll learn that may not be the case. They say something followed them, and they never want to speak of that place again. They thought they would be safe at home, but I'm sure that that's what this madman's family thought, only to be murdered just beyond those mansions' gates. Be prepared for what you find once you pass through the gates of hell. It may be what you don't see that's most terrifying. But the former mansion owner and his dark deeds would be the root cause of another urban legend. Due to the lack of justice for his crimes, Riverdale Road would find itself host to its very own Woman in White. The Woman in White, or as it is sometimes referred, the White Lady, is a far-reaching and commonly reported type of female ghost, often depicted as having long, straight dark hair, typically wearing a long, white flowing dress, and are often associated with local legends of tragedy, such as an accidental death, murder, or suicide, with the cause usually attributed to betrayal by a husband or unrequited love. So it would be no surprise when reports would be circulating around the area that travelers on Riverdale Road were seeing the spirit of who they believed to be the wife of the mansion owner as she walks the road by the gates. It is assumed that she is searching for her children, hoping to be reunited in death. Others believe she is searching for her cowardly husband in the hopes of seeking the justice that she was deprived. While she may be searching for revenge against her husband, she doesn't appear to have any ill intentions towards the curious and brave travelers who venture down Riverdale Road. The most she has been known to do is appear in the rearview mirror as drivers pass by, longing for help and a ride home to a home that no longer exists.
And now a word from our sponsors.
VENATOS is in our hands. It's left to us, guys. And we gotta do something with it.
Anyone who's been a part of the Press Start family for any amount of time knows that I truly appreciate and value the relationship that I have with today's sponsor, VENATOS. They are truly an outstanding company with great quality products that I can truly get behind and put my stamp of approval on. Their customer service is absolutely hands down some of the best on the marketplace. If you reach out to them for any reason, your emails are typically responded to within hours, not days, hours. And not only do they promise to make it right, they promise to make it better. And as a thank you for your support, they are offering a 10% discount on any orders if you use the code PRESSSTARTMOM at checkout. They do ship internationally, including Canada, and 100% stand by the quality of their products. And so do I. Thank you, VENATOS, for sponsoring this video, and thank you to all of you for checking out VENATOS. Let's get back to the video. One of the most famous supernatural tales of Riverdale Road involves the very treacherous nature of the many blind curves in the road, and one driver who carelessly thought himself immortal, testing the limits of his souped-up Camaro. The incident, which reportedly occurred in the 1970s, tells the tale of a night driver and his impatient rush to get home. In his rush, he decided to test fate with his gas pedal, and he would sadly fail the test, resulting in the driver's death. And now, the phantom Camaro patrols the road, and not as a cautionary tale meant to protect other drivers from suffering a similar fate. Instead, his intentions appear to be far more sinister, as he challenges the other vehicles with his one headlight by pulling up behind them and challenging them to increase their own speed. The treacherous nature of the deadly curves in the road is sadly also responsible for accidents that happen to joggers on an unfortunately regular basis. And for one jogger who decided to take a night run down Riverdale Road, this would result in his tragic death, and, according to the legend surrounding him, he has never been able to move on, continuing to haunt the road. People passing through on foot have reported terrifying encounters. They share stories of the feeling of being watched, of hearing someone approaching them from behind, their footfalls on the concrete getting closer. They even report to hearing a rapid heartbeat and labored breathing. But when they turn to look back, no one's there. But this eerie legend is not reserved for those on foot. Many who travel down Riverdale Road in vehicles also report having experiences with the ghostly jogger. In these stories, the claims revolve around taps on the window glass and the sides of the vehicle, as if the jogger is trying to get the driver's attention, hoping to warn them off what reckless driving can lead to, and to caution them to pay more attention to pedestrians. Although, maybe the ghostly jogger is offering a different kind of warning. Almost all of us grow up being told that if you ever see someone thumb out on the side of the road asking for a ride, that it would be wise to not pull over and offer that ride. The crazed homicidal hitchhiker is a trope that has persisted for decades in media of all types. But, as is true for most legends, they usually come from a place of truth. In addition to the ride-seeking lady in white, Riverdale Road also plays host to its own resident hitchhiker, traveling down the side of the road thumbing for a ride. Those who are compassionate enough and sympathetic to the hitchhiker's plight will pull over to offer assistance and will open the passenger side door to the stranger, only to have him vanish before their very eyes. But the most tragic death reported along the 11-mile stretch of Riverdale Road revolves around the death of a young schoolboy. According to this urban legend, the path through Riverdale Road was part of this young boy's journey to a schoolhouse. Tragically, in the early morning dusk one day, the boy was struck by a vehicle taking the curves too quickly, and who didn't see the small boy. It is said that he still paces the street restlessly at night, smearing his bloody handprints on the street signs as he passes. But by morning, the prints vanish without a trace, as if they, and the boy, were never there. Obviously, the tales and legends coming from Riverdale Road are many and have a long history. Some of the more eerie tales that persist come from times long past, and as we know, with the many tales from the burned-down mansion, it isn't just the road itself that's apparently haunted. It's also the area of land that the road cuts through. For hundreds of years, stories have been told of Native Americans roaming the land. These spirits seem confused and angered by the road's existence on land that once rightfully belonged to them. And this anger only seems to have intensified as the years have gone on. Many visitors and locals in the area have reported seeing these Native American spirits, who in death have taken to shape-shifting, appearing in different forms to communicate with people in their own ways. These shape-shifting spirits seem to have varying intentions, from simply wanting answers for the confusing changes to their land, to those a little more annoyed with the blacktop cutting through their hunting grounds, and seemingly wanting to scare off travelers from their land. So if you do plan to visit, be on the lookout for unusual activities or strange, random people, because it could be these shapeshifters playing tricks on you. Sometimes, the most terrifying legends speak of evils imagined for a good scary story to share in the dark among friends. But sometimes, the horrors humans inflict on each other are far scarier than anything our imagination can conjure up. America has had a long, deep-rooted and dark history of abusing slaves while it was still legal to own them. And while the South has a deep history of slave labor and abuse, Colorado has its own history that isn't typically talked about when discussing American history. Slaves lived in the Colorado area as well, and especially along Riverdale Road. It is said that on some nights, as you travel past the old cottonwood trees that still stand along the roadside, you may catch something out of the corner of your eye. And when you turn your attention towards it, you will see the horrific after effects of so much bigotry and hatred. It is said that in the shadows, you will see these poor slaves hanging from the trees, dangling as a visual reminder that nothing good can ever come from hate. Many people get excitement out of a little scare. Watching a good horror movie, cuddled close to someone you love, protecting you from the imagined evils on the screen, knowing full well that you are safe. Many flock to haunted houses, hoping for that real-life jump scare, presenting a false bravado of courage, so easy to fake when the scares are also fake. There's a genuine thrill that comes from being surprised and scared, but only to a certain degree. When that fear is intensified and the tales become facts, things can go from a harmless scare to downright terrifying. Places like Riverdale Road teeter on that invisible boundary line of legend and reality, with so much living lore crawling its way towards you as a reminder of evil's real, imagined, and urban legend. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. I truly could not do this without all of you. And of course, a special thank you to VENATOS for their unwavering support of the channel and for being the greatest sponsors ever. Make sure you guys go check out VENATOS and use code PRESSSTARTMOM at checkout to secure your 10% off. You can thank me later. As always, it is you that keeps the channel running. Like I said, I can't do this without you. So if you would, on your way down Riverdale Road, hit that like button, subscribe to be a part of the Press Start family, and leave a comment on what your local legends are so maybe I can take a peek at them for you. Until next time, take care of yourselves and one another, and we'll see you next time.